Welcome everybody. It's a late night. It's a late night in some spots in America, and it's about 9 over here in the Bay in California. We're still up and about, and I got my cousin Kenny here, and we're gonna have a great show. So, shout out to everybody who's here, and we all appreciate you. Let's check it real quick. Oh, we got Little Sponge in the house. Shout out to Little Sponge. He's got a great little channel. It's not a little channel, it's growing. And thank you for coming, Spongy. Appreciate you. Kenny, how you been?
I've been pretty good. Trying to keep my spirits up since we lost a king, Corey Davis. Seeing everybody really supporting him, everybody in the show mentioning him, and asking for the subs, and saying prayers and everything. So it's been a week. How you doing?
That's a great way to say it. It has definitely been a week. Corey Davis is a great guy, great guy, big heart, and appreciate all the kind words. He's one of those guys that you could always count on. He'd always be there, and he's just one of those guys that he's one of the guys. You're not going to kick him out. You're not going to pick him last. You're always going to want him on your team, and you feel great when you're around him. He brought up the show every time. He really did. He had a great smile, great voice, his laughter, never forget that, and just countless times of just having fun with him. And the fun parts of Corey was like sometimes the unexpected, like when he would wig out, and it wasn't a wig out, but like just out of the blue. Hey, this ain't a baseball channel. This is a football channel. And you're like, hey, Corey, hey, calm down, Corey. Get back in line. Corey's and this is Corey, so Corey's great. And I really appreciate that. I know since I've been doing this, you've been watching me a little bit, and you've seen Corey, and oh man, Corey's probably in 95% of my videos. He's just he's a great guy. He really truly is. But
we'll have hours of Corey to watch. Corey can have a channel.
Yeah, he'll always be around. So if you guys know, Corey's at like 430 subscribers on YouTube. Please check out his channel, subscribe, share, comment. He's got a lot of great videos. Go back and watch him, and we want to keep him going. So as we go along, if we can get a friend to subscribe to one of our channels, we want them to hopefully subscribe to Corey, because again, a friend of Corey is really, really, truly a treasure. To be Corey's friend is it's wonderful, and you can become Corey's friend just by watching his videos. He truly is somebody that you can bring into your home and welcome to your heart. So thank you again, and man, thanks, man, because it feels better and better every day to talk about him. It still hurts, but it feels better. But yeah, check out Corey Davis. I'm gonna put him in the chat real quick, and you guys go check it out. And really appreciate it. Shout out to Tony. See you. I love you. I appreciate you coming through.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna find Corey's link real quick and post it. So other than that, how have you been? I know we had a big win against the Philadelphia Eagles. And oh man, that was great.
It really was.
Did you expect the type of performance that we got?
I don't think that anybody expected that. But what I did expect, I'll tell you what, was when they came out and gave up the 6 points, I had no panic in me. I was just watching the team and relaxing. Remember, we were on the phone, and I said, right now they're getting pummeled, but I have no fear. I felt very calm and relaxed. It was just the way it was happening. Just didn't look so scary. And you almost knew they were going to come back any second and score that touchdown and then be up. So it didn't look. The Eagles didn't look super strong. What did you think?
I think once we got past the defensive line, their linebackers didn't seem to want to tackle, their corners didn't seem to want to tackle, and from there it was like, oh, wow. At first, it seemed like that's what they were doing to us. It really did. It seemed like they were going right down the middle on almost every play. And they weren't doing any wrong. And then our defense started to tighten up when we got closer to the red zone, which is really really nice to see. And holding them to 2 field goals was really I think an attitude, a demeanor change, like a mood change as well. Like if they would have went down and scored 2 touchdowns against us, I think they would have been like pumped. They would have been like fly Eagles. But no, no. When they went down and got 2 field goals, I think the crowd kind of turned a little bit and was like, "What's going on here?" And it really is. I'm so sorry, little sponge. I'm not trying to bash on your team, but it is really demoralizing when you look around your stadium and your stadium is empty and all there's left is the opposing team's fans. That's not cool. And for the big hype for both teams talking as much as they did, I would have liked to see a little bit more support from the fan base. So, not calling you guys out, but yeah, they do call the 49ers the faithful for a reason. So,
yeah, we travel well.
Yeah, we are definitely traveling. Well, oh, hey, Tony said congratulations on hitting 60 subs. All
Very
right,
nice.
for special
Very nice.
cards. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, if anybody listening right now can go check out Philly Special Cards, I think that's the name of his YouTube channel, and that would be wonderful. Give him a subscription. It's free. He's a cool guy. He does a lot of work on his. He does a lot of work around the community. He says he's an Eagles fan, but we don't believe it. We don't believe it. What's up, Daniel Berry? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights also has a channel. Check his out. He's a really cool dude as well. So what you got on the docket? Oh, there's Randy Daytona. What's up, Randy? Shake and bake.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know you've been having a rough week, so I went above and beyond as much as I could, and I made a bunch of notes to have stuff ready to talk about because I know that you've been real busy, and maybe you're not having, you're not tip top this week on the shows and the scripts that you do, and I know you prepare a lot and work real hard. So I did my part. I wrote down some stuff on a composition notebook because I'm old. I used a pen and I wrote with my hand. So I know all this is kind of strange to people, but that's how I prepared. Would you like to hear what I prepared?
Yeah.
It's really just a lot of ranting since I'm not a professional, but here we go. All right. I want to talk about Jalen Hurts first. All right. He's been called MVP. He's been called one of the best quarterbacks, a franchise guy, and that he earned that huge contract. I personally don't think so. But here's what I want to point out. Jalen Hurts, this is his 4th year. Okay? This is his 4th year. His first one was a disaster. His second one was okay, I guess, for a second-year person who had such a terrible first year. And then that 3rd year, I think he was just in the right place at the right time. And maybe I know little spongies out there, at least one Philly fan who may not agree. That's just how I've always felt. The man has a 60-30 touchdown to interception ratio. That to me is not impressive. Is that an impressive stat in football? I don't know. And even now in his 4th year on this incredibly stacked championship team, right? His numbers are not great. Not great numbers, all right? I believe his best quality is coming back. But if the defense is so good, why do they have to keep coming back? I don't understand. So I just don't think it's a defensive problem on their team, even though it seems to be from what the statistics say, the numbers say it's a defensive problem more than it's an offensive problem. I also feel like Swift has been bailing Jalen Hurts out all year with some real fancy runs, but this week that just passed, I mean, what I always used to say is you don't run on this team. This team is impossible to run on. And then for those 3 games we remembered what it was like to be able to be run on. Do you remember that? And it was not a pleasant thing I wanted to remember. I like when nobody could run on us. And I don't even think the Eagles ever got their run game started. Every time that poor guy got the ball, even when they threw him the ball, he was getting pounded, Swift. I think Swift may have gone back to the future in that game and maybe been a little concussed, and nobody saw it. Hey, Gammon Brown, I seen him around. All right, here we go. What else we got? Oh, Alex Ocho. He said the Eagles played a good game because they didn't blow any coverages or have any turnovers. So I'm thinking, but ain't that worse? You played a perfect game and got stumped? That sounds crazy to me. So Ocho, I think he was saying it as like a positive, but I didn't see it that way at all. What else we got? It looked like the Eagles almost lost their QB for a minute. And it was, I bet you the people in the stands were thinking karma's real for just a little while during that game.
Yeah, you went there. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. You know what? We never wished it on him or anything, but it happened and it was a scare. And luckily, you know, for them, he's fine. And I don't want anybody to get hurt. So luckily, just for all of us, he's fine. You know, I want to play a team with their best players, unlike the Eagles, who are satisfied beating a team with their fourth quarterback. Moving on. It looks like the Niners came to Lincoln, proved it, put the cuffs on the Eagles in their house. So how many Levi's East do we have right now? Do you know how many Levi's East we have on in our pocket there? Who do we got? We got Miami. Would you call that Levi's East or Levi's Southeast?
So I always call Miami the Miami Niners. I call the New York Jets the New Jersey Niners.
It's where the Niners will go to retire, Florida.
Right, you know, and you know, we got that umbrella, you know, so all these players go to these teams where these former 49er coaches. So like we have Houston, right? So I call that Levi South, you know, like South Texas. You know, we got Levi's Inglewood, so that's Levi SoFi, you know, like Levi South. Yeah. Everybody, we have Levi's North. That's in Seattle now. We can almost officially say we still have to pay rent. We don't own it yet.
Not yet. We'll pay that mortgage off in just a few more games, though. All right, so here we go. Got some more stuff if you're ready to hear. What else here? Eagles. I know we had problems tackling, but the Eagles also had some problems tackling. So that seems to be a concern if I'm an Eagles fan. And it looks like apparently the stats may matter a little bit because the defensive stats were not very good, and that showed in this game. It wasn't just random, right? So these stats, they made sense in this game. I also thought it was crazy that the Dallas just played the Eagles? Is that who just played? And that was a close game, right?
Dallas played Seattle.
Oh, Dallas played Seattle, but didn't Dallas already play the Eagles once?
Yeah,
and it was 6 or 4 or 5 point game.
Okay, yes, you're right. Yeah,
I know that that's a divisional game and it's a little different, but those guys are supposed to be powerhouses, right? And that's the game that they produced. That looked weak to me. I don't know who to praise in that. The defenses that gave up 40 points almost, or the offenses that only put up 30 points, 35 points. I don't know. Losing my train of thought. Let's see. Our DTs got the sacks, not their fancy new out of the box DTs that everybody thought was the greatest in the league, right? Our DTs, and it wasn't even our starting DTs. It was Kinlaw, who I always still back no matter what, because he's a Niner, and that's what I do. And he finally showed up. And Kalia Davis, who finally got a chance to take the red shirt off and put the red and gold shirt on and prove something to everybody. And I also wanted to point out, thinking about Corey Davis for a moment, I'm looking at the box score after that Eagles game, and it's late, and I'm looking at it, and I look down, and what do I see in the box score? Who gets a sack? K. Davis. That's just crazy. That's something I don't know if you noticed that, Bryant. Did you notice that? The man put himself in the game.
So you're telling me some way,
You see,
somehow, KD got into that game. Oh my gosh. I
okay, look
love
what they
it.
say, and
I
I've
love
said
it.
it before.
The
If
energy that
you
he had, the last bit of energy he had, he did. He spent it watching the game, right? And he did. He enjoyed a slice of cake after the game. So you know he celebrated well. So, Mr. KD, you're saying got a sack in the 49ers game. That's all I don't need you to say the first name or we don't need to write it out, but
all
KD.
I'm saying is K. Davis got back in the Eagles game that we mopped them up on.
Oh my
And who
gosh.
thought that was? No one thought that would happen in the first place. We had
Let's
angels in the end zone, like angels in the outfield. We had angels in the end zone. They were looking out, and they were greeting someone, and they were going to give them a welcome present. That's what they were doing. And they say, you don't do things; the Lord does things through you. Okay, you are just a tool of the Lord, and you've got things to do here. And there's,
all right. What do you think about this from Little Sponge?
a
One
little
of
sponge.
Kinlaw's facts. Yeah, this is Little Sponge. Philly Special Cards, formerly known as Little Sponge Official. Um, yeah, Little Spongy Official. That was his old handle. But this is Philly Special Cards, and same guy, great guy. He's a good kid, and turning into a great young man. One of Kinlaw's sacks wasn't really a sack. What do you think of that?
I think that it's a good point, but I think it was recorded as one. So if there's a problem with that, little spongy, you're gonna have to write the commissioner. I can't help you with that one. A sack is a sack is a sack. If Jalen couldn't stay on his feet or whatever it was, I mean that's just part of the game. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, it's no, it really is not. So, any thoughts on the concussed or not concussed Jalen Hurts?
Mm, I think he's all right. I think he's fine. I think maybe it may have been a precaution, but the people in the stands didn't know that, and they were thinking to themselves, "Hey, this is how life is." For a moment, they were reminded what life is like. Don't ever get too much on that cloud. Don't ever get too much of a big head, because life will remind you that you are just here for the ride. So, what do you think about the Niners? What do you think about them this week and how they performed, Brian?
I think they played better than I expected. I I've been saying this team is very special all year, all year. This team since like last year. Oh, it's really special. Um, you've gotten different vibes from like the year prior. You know, this one last year you have pretty good vibes, but the year before when we dropped the pass against the Rams, oh boy, you know, it's just not the same. It's not the same vibes. This is a totally different team. And it's the same, a lot of the same players, but I think they just believe that Jimmy was their guy. Okay, you know, he was their guy, hands down. He just was, right? But you take Jimmy out of the picture and you put somebody else in that I like just as much as Jimmy or has won them over. Hey, Brock Purdy can come in and play, and he's playing just as well as Jimmy. We like you, Jimmy, but hey, sometimes different strokes for different folks, and they got to take there's a fork when you're walking on the path, and somebody has to go left and somebody has to go right. Well, the Niners, we are left with Brock Purdy, and guess what? It's really exciting. The 3-game skid was like, okay, the Browns game, I think Debo got hurt in the beginning of the game.
Hmm.
I think he did. I think Trent Williams, he was ailing some injuries. I think we went into the game, not as healthy as we could. I think the Browns had that week off, and that really helped them out. It really, 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 really helped them out Then our next game, the Vikings, we almost win that game, but our quarterback got concussed, and we had what, another missed field goal by our rookie kicker. Rookies can't miss; they cannot afford to miss. You miss too many times as a rookie, they don't keep you around. They will cut you before the season's over. And shout out to my boy Robbie Gold, one of my favorite 49ers, former 49ers. He retired today. That's why we used him as the thumbnail. He's just, hey, he's good as gold. So Moody, I think you're on notice, but hope you don't have to don't waver. Just keep doing what you're doing. But if we need to, I'm sure they can call Robbie, and he'll get up off the couch, and he'll probably never sit down. The rest of the season he's probably going to be on edge waiting for that phone call. But Moody's doing good, and that's what's really neat. Also, just thinking about it, the defense is playing a little bit better. The Bengal game, I know some people say that we could have won the Bengal game, and some people say that we can't. We couldn't have. Well, I think we were in every game to win, but I think the Bengal game, there was a point where they erupted on us, and not necessarily erupted, but I think it went back to that play where we had the strip fumble, whatever it was, interception. It was, I think it was a turnover right there. They didn't give it to us, so the Bengals were able to continue to use the momentum from the crowd and what they were already doing. And then, you know, we weren't tackling in that game. It really showed me that we weren't tackling. They were trying to lunge at guys and use their shoulders and make big hits, but they weren't wrapping up. And you have to be able to, tackle. You have to get the guy down. And I laid a big pop on him, and ooh, you could hear it on the TV, and ooh, that's a good highlight. But when the guy falls back 2 steps and then runs around you and runs up 9 yards or 15 yards, yeah, that's a highlight for the other team. So I think they changed a lot of that. Wilkes coming down's really, really been positive. You can see the sidelines it has so much more energy right now. I don't know what they got in the water over there in Levi's, but Santa Clara is definitely popping. And now we have a big win against the Eagles. It seemed like, again, them kicking the 2 field goals and then us just turning it on. We went, how many drives? We went 6 drives without scoring. We went 6 drives scoring a touchdown in a row. That hasn't happened since like 1996, I think, or 1997, something like that for the 49ers, where it's like, come on, like this is a really good team right now. We just got to put everything together, keep it all in front of us, and let's go win this. And we play the Seahawks. They did put up. You brought it up earlier. They played and I brought it up. The Cowboys. That game was really close. We beat the Seahawks. They didn't even put up an offensive touchdown. They played the Cowboys. Now, when we played the Cowboys, it was like 42-10. The Cowboys played the Seahawks in Seattle. Was it in Seattle or was it in Dallas? I can't remember. But the score was 38-40. 38-42, something like that. So it was a very close game. But my point is the Seahawks offense was starting to perform. So them coming into our stadium this weekend, it's gonna. I don't want the Niners to sleep on them because we won big last week. No, you can't count on winning like that. Every game is different. It's one game at a time, one opponent. And if we can move forward, one step at a time, this team is unbeatable. I don't see a team on the roster right now in the league. Maybe, be honest with you, maybe the Baltimore Ravens. I don't see the Baltimore Ravens being able to beat us twice. So if we make it to the Super Bowl and the Ravens made it to the Super Bowl, I don't see them beating us. And I know we have a problem with mobile quarterbacks, but I think we're getting better at it with all the additions. Shout out to Leilani, my mother-in-law, great lady. He is on a good roll. Hope he keeps it going. Yeah,
Leilani.
Yes, Leilani. She's wonderful, and every time he kicks or misses, I know I hear it. I hear her voice, saying something about him. So Keep doing what you gotta do, Booty, and Leilani, keep the pressure on. Uh, Kenny, I'm gonna fix my camera, but go ahead and keep it rolling. And
All right, I'm going to talk about what I thought about the Niners, and then you should be back by then, and we'll talk about maybe the Seattle and the 49ers for a little bit more.
yeah, I'm right here. I can listen. I'm just adjusting
Okay.
the camera.
All right, so here's what I came up with the Niners week. Let's see. I didn't love the early play calls. I thought that's why we started out slow. I don't know if Kyle was experimenting with something, maybe playing possum. Does that sound crazy? But giving up drives just to look a certain way or to present the team in a certain way where maybe the Eagles could think, hey, we got this. This is an easy one. We've already run it down their throats twice or run it down down the field twice on them. We just didn't put it in. No big deal. Next time we will, right? That's what they were thinking. And I think what it is I think people are starting to catch on to the layered passes. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Kyle designs plays where Brock can roll one way and fire that ball to either CMC, Kittle, or BA. And usually he'll send one other guy the other way, but he wasn't doing that at first. I don't know if that was on purpose, but he was sending everyone to one side and giving Brock a very little space to work with and scramble around. And then he would like throw it in and out of bounds, and it looked really bad there for a few drives. But then I think Kyle started sending somebody the other way. And the first one was the Debo play where he caught the ball, went the other way. And it was real nice. And then that end around, I know came later, but that was an amazing play call, the Debo call. So obviously the play calls got better. But like I said, I think people are catching on to the layered throws, and that's kind of what it was. But it's been working. I really like when Brock put that shoulder on that guy, broke a tackle, and then laid a shoulder in like George Kittle. I'd rather he didn't do that, but that was really cool to watch. I don't know if you noticed that the Niners, the linemen were being blocked at some points by 6 to 8 guys. I don't know if you saw it, but there was at least one play I promise you it's the truth. At least one play where I saw 7 to 8 guys blocking 4 Niners, and Hurts is still like just has no clue, can't see anybody. It's a little tough when you're sending 4 people of that caliber and that quality of talent at a quarterback, and then you got 7 people sitting in a zone just waiting for the ball to be lobbed out there in some crazy rushed manner, and it's been working. So I mean, I don't know if that's what Wilkes was doing in the first 5 games. I don't think he was. Remember, he was kind of playing this backup prevent D. But I think when we got Chase, and after that 3-game stretch where we were just beat, we were like a beaten child, just at the steps and misbehaved, and Mama beat him, and he slept there that night on the steps. That's what we were like. We got beat on, we misbehaved, and we needed a good whooping to come back. And then we got that whooping for those 3 games. We got our rest, we got our bearings, and we started doing what we had to do. And Wilkes saw, look, now we got the 4 on the line. Like when we used to have D Ford, that was the game changer. We had 4. And that's how we could keep more guys waiting in that cover 3, I think is what they used to do, right? I think, isn't that what cover 3 is, what D'Amico did? And so did, who was the other guy? I'm sorry.
Sala?
Sala, yeah. Didn't they both do a cover 3?
I think so.
Well, that's what always worked, I thought, for the Niners, is having a devastating line, blitzing, and then having these guys that are such great ball hawks and such great instincts guys just sitting in that zone waiting for the ball. Because I think that's why we got Brown and Huff, because that's kind of their whole specialty, right? I know Ambry's getting a lot of love, and that's fine because he's playing great. But I saw one play that I thought was 100% a pass interference, and it wasn't called. But I could have swore that on that same play, somebody was offsides. So it was a huge disaster. I thought the play was all Philly and nothing was called, and they called it a great play. Do you remember that play? Hope you know what, soon we can pull up a clip and figure that stuff out soon enough. But yeah, there was a play. Ambry broke up a play, and it was fine, but I mean, he was in the guys. I mean, when you see a couple haven't seen each other for a long time and the girl jumps on him with her legs. I mean, Ambry was riding him like he was wearing him like a backpack. I mean, that was a PI all the way. I don't know. He wasn't even facing the ball. He was totally facing the end zone. Maybe that was for what happened last season, and the refs gave us one freebie, and that was it. But that wasn't a game changer or anything. But
No, did you see though, like the way they're playing right now? The last couple of times they've ran up. It's like almost like face guarding the other guy. Face to face. Like the wide receivers turning to look for the ball, and then I'm running up on you, or the corner's running up. But just as soon as the ball comes, it's almost like now they're playing this rule where it's like, oh well, you seen the DB turned his head, so now they're yeah, so they were giving us, I think, a lot of leeway a little bit over there because we were running up on those wide receivers. And then just as soon as like you seen the wide receiver make a play, then the DB was like, oh, turn my head. And then they'd like do these, smackaways like, oh, there's a fly or something, get back,
they were letting them play for sure. They were letting them go up there and battle for the ball. And I thought that was good. I don't want to be stuck there in a game wondering what refs are coming up with to which side gets the ball. I don't like that. Let them play, unless it's some crazy pass interference. Just let them play. Let them go up there and jump for the ball. That's kind of the whole fun, right? That's what we want to see these two athletes do, battle for that ball. So don't call pass interference on a little bit of contact. It's got to be some serious pass interference, in my opinion. I saw Oliver out there playing a little safety. I don't know that he really belongs there, but I don't know where else he's going to go. Although I never really believed he was a starter, but I thought he had. I mean, if you watch him in Atlanta, they sure liked him. He was a good player, and he was a good draft pick. He was a solid talent coming out. I think that if he's ours and we've paid for him, I think that he will. He'll pay dividends soon enough. If you remember the Rams game, I don't think we win that game without him. He made the interception with one arm. Remember, he made a one-handed interception? And then he made an incredible tackle there at the end on Williams, the running back, I think it was, or somebody, or maybe Atwell, who caught a pass right in front of the first down. He locked it down. And if you remember those first 5 games, Oliver was 5-0. So I think even though Ambry's taken the job, that is what it is. I think it's nice to have Oliver back there in case something happens. And I think that losing his job may have made him, turn it up a little bit and try and just work a little harder. Like I said with Kinlaw, if you're a Niner and you're wearing that jersey, I got your back no matter what. Everybody has slumps and has bad times. So, that is what it is. What'd you think about what Stephen A. said? Did you hear what Stephen A. said?
What did he say?
That game and that mollywhopping delegitimized. You see that my stutter came back. It's been a long time. He delegitimized the NFC Championship game, which I thought was brutal. A brutal attack on the Eagles. What do you think?
I think the Niners just came to play.
Man, too many rules.
Yeah, I think they just came to play, and they really took the wind away from Philadelphia. When Philadelphia went down and scored only 2 field goals, I think somebody on the defense looked at the Eagles offense and said, it's going to be like this all day. You guys aren't going to be moving on us like that. And for whatever reason, there's 2 drives they were moving the ball very well on us, but there was an adjustment. And I think even with Greenlaw coming out, they still were able to adjust. I know Philadelphia did go down and score, but at that point, I don't want to say that was garbage time or they were just letting Philadelphia score, but it was almost like the Niners offense wasn't going to be stopped. So Philadelphia could have went down and scored 6 touchdowns. The Niners would have had 12. I really, truly believe that's just the way that game was going. And if the defense did need to come up with it, and it wasn't like the defense wasn't trying to get stops or, make turnovers or anything like that. They did have some sacks on the quarterback. Hurts did get hurt. He came back into the game. We weren't trying to hurt anybody, of course. You play the game, you don't want injuries or anybody to get hurt. But yeah, he did get hurt, and he came back in the game, so that was good. But yeah, I think they got mollywopped. I think they didn't. I don't think they expected us to come in and play like that, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they bounce back against somebody like the Cowboys, because the Cowboys have been doing that to a lot of teams, even though it's been like sad teams that are like 500 or less. I don't think they've really beat a above 500 team. So even though they played really close with the Eagles, a couple of weeks ago, it was like 24-28 or something like that, really close. He didn't get it done. You didn't get it done. And you see how the Niners played the Seahawks. You see how the Seahawks played the Cowboys. There was definitely a lot more points scored. You see how we played the Eagles. So are the Eagles and the Cowboys closer to each other's level? And we're that much higher. At this point, I really truly think our only competition, if we have competition, is going to be the Ravens. Let me ask you this real quick. Do you think we had a problem with our defense in Pittsburgh, or do you think the Rams exposed us? And then we played the Cardinals. Okay. Well, we played the Giants. The Giants tried to blitz our quarterback a bunch of times. They didn't. They didn't have the same type of game plan that their offense couldn't stand up to our defense. Let's get that straight. But their defense just tried to blitz our quarterback, and our quarterback picked it up. And by him picking it up the way he did, we were able to capitalize, and it threw the game out of hand. And their quarterback got spooked too. Let's be honest. Then we played the Cardinals, and the Cardinals played a very competitive game, I would say, against us. I really would. That Dobbs, he was very, very formidable, right? And then we go to the Cowboys, and that's the game where we really crushed them. And this is my point where I'm saying I think this is where we got exposed, because the Browns had that week off, and they got to look at our little ledger. They got to look at our past, and said, okay, this is what they've been doing. This is what they're not good at. And I would say that they came out throwing the ball a lot more. They did try to run on us. I don't think any teams really run on us very well. I think they did have a couple of big runs in that game, but we're not. I think Cincinnati's game, that was the one where we had the more of a devastating running back play us. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think that we got exposed in the Rams game, and it was the coverage. And since playing, the Browns, the Vikings, the Bengals, the Jaguars, who else did we play? The Seahawks. We've also played, Tampa Bay. Then it was Seahawks. Now it's the Eagles, Seahawks. So
we got Commanders coming, and Cardinals, and the Rams, and they're all teams that can beat you. You want to be ho-hum about those games. Don't be surprised if we lose at least one of them. You remember 2019? Didn't we lose to the Falcons? And we when we lost games, they weren't to, I think one was to Seattle, right?
In 2019?
One was to Seattle.
I don't think it was to Seattle. I can't remember. I think it was.
We split. Remember, because Greenlaw is the guy who stuffed somebody at the 1 yard line, and that's how we split that year with them. Okay. And that was huge because we were losing to Seattle every year, remember? And they still had Russ. So, yeah. I think that was that game. But speaking of Greenlaw, that ejection was total BS. I just remember, Greenlaw, and we were on the phone or texting at that moment as well. And I told you, that's why I don't like Greenlaw sometimes. I feel like he's got a temper, and he's got to be able to control that. I can't remember how many times him and Ward have extended plays for the other team with late hits or something like that, and then they score a touchdown or something. When that happened and he got thrown out of the game, I thought, oh, well, there's what they needed. Now this stadium is going to explode. And because of Greenlaw's craziness, what is he doing wrestling moves for? I love, the aggression of football, but that's uncalled for, especially in front of the refs. on their sideline. And it's a close game at that point, and it's just not over yet. And you just pick a guy up and you body slam him, which, I mean, like it or not, you could cripple a guy. You land on your neck. It's just not funny. It seems cool and tough and fun and rough, and until somebody gets hurt, which we've seen. So I thought it was really cool too that Niners only team blowing people away. I believe we've beaten 5 playoff teams by almost 20 points, and combined, we've beaten all 5 of those teams by 100 points. That's some crazy stats. And stopping the tush push was no little feat either. So I think we got a lot from this game.
Most definitely. I think wow. Let me get your thought on this. Philly special cards, little sponge. He asked this, and I want your thoughts, and then I'll answer it too. I haven't asked you guys, but do you think that Purdy's sack last year was intentional? And I'm assuming you're talking about the one where his arm got hurt. What sack? Because I don't think he got really a sack. It was more like a incomplete pass, but where he got injured. So if you're talking about that, Kenny, what's your thoughts? Do you think hurting Purdy last year was intentional? Like, do you think they targeted him?
Now,
Oh, wait. This is what he says. Do you think the security guard was trying to stop anything from happening? Okay, Spudge. Let's answer that question.
You have to pay for the second question, Sponge. No, I'm just.
Yeah, you gotta pay. Let's answer this one about the injury. I think that's what he's asking about. So, do you think they intentionally went after Purdy last year?
Well, I'm conspiracy Kenny, but no, I don't. I think in the heat of the moment, you just do what you do. I don't think that when you had 3 seconds to sack a quarterback, that you're thinking, let me just get him by the arm and break it instead of getting a sack. I think it just was what it was. And you know what? It was a lucky hit, and it took him out, and that was it. I would have gladly traded that injury for an interception on that play and taken our chances. So I think it was just a random hit. I think it was a good hit. I think it was a good tackle. I think it was bad blocking. And whether anyone likes it or not, we lost. And it was because of that play. So, but again, I don't think it was on purpose, and I don't think it was malicious. I think that all these men are employees and coworkers, and we're fans, and they're all friends for the most part, and colleagues. So they don't hate each other. Bradbury, when he talked about Debo, he said, Debo's just being Debo. I'm not mad at Debo. You can't take things like that out there. You're at war for a week, and then you see each other out and you're partying together. I guarantee it.
Debo said Bradbury was trash, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, he made it. He
did. And Bradbury still said, "That's just Debo being Debo. I know he don't dislike me or anything, and I guarantee you, Debo doesn't."
No, he probably is a pretty cool guy. He's like, he's got a, yeah.
I'm sure they've traded jerseys or will at some point and shake and hug at this. We'll see it. It's a long game, long sport, and those guys, they'll be playing for a little bit.
Okay, so do you think this is so for my answer for that one would be, I do. I think they wanted to take Purdy out of the game, but I don't think they wanted to do it necessarily on that game. I think they just wanted to get a big hit on him to start the game, and they got basically what they wanted. I think they wanted Purdy out of the game.
They may have known it was their only way to stop us,
but I don't think they thought it was going to happen. I don't think they said, here's a bunch of money, go after and hurt Purdy. But I do think they did. I believe 100% that the Eagles knew if they took out Purdy, they had a good chance.
Hey, well, that's some tinfoil hat material, my friend. That's what we call around here Culp fiction, is what we call that.
And again, I don't think So like what Sponge says here, he appreciates what you said. He understands that's what he's saying, but it wasn't intentional. And again, I don't think it was intentional, but I think they all said it in the locker room or without being said. We take out Purdy, or we can get Purdy out of the game. We can win this game. So, I don't think anybody was upset in the Eagles locker room that it happened. I don't think anybody in the Eagles locker room also wanted to play against Purdy either. I think they had a game plan. I don't want to say intentionally, let's go hurt the quarterback, but I definitely think they had. We're going to get after this guy. We're going to get some
Hey,
hits on him.
you know what they say, Bryant? The dog that's silent, that's the one you got to worry about. It's not the loud dog. It's the dog that's not barking. That's the one you got to worry about.
Lonnie coming in, paying up partially as part of the game. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that when my team's losing. Get that out of here. All right. He did ask another question, and I want to get to that one too.
Okay.
All right. So he says, "Do you think the security guard was trying to stop anything from happening?" And I think it wasn't his first time, if I heard correctly today. It's not his first time being involved. So, how many times are you going to let the security guard fight the players on the field? And then there was also a thing I heard too on the radio about Tyreek Hill and a photographer. And I don't have all the details on this, but the photographer took a picture of Tyreek Hill with a cell phone or something. They didn't do it the way the NFL wanted to do it. He ended up getting let go by the NFL. And it was proven that he didn't have anything to do with the situation that happened or they planned it. It just it happened the way it happened, right? So because in one way or the other you want to say it, Tyreek Hill got this guy, fired because they let him go for the season. He maybe will return next year. I don't know, but at this point he's not a press photographer anymore. So not Debo, but Tyreek Hill is paying his salary for the year.
Wow.
That's a stand up. That's stand up. That's really that needs to be happening. More and more people need to take up their responsibilities and take care of business like that. So yeah. What's your thoughts, Kenny, on the security guard? Did you see him trying to attack Greenlaw, invoke him? I mean, did he have any business touching?
Well, again, let Spongy probably a little happy here. I've spent time in the Philly area, in Maryland, down Mason-Dixon line area, and people they got a little chip on the shoulder. Okay, so in Philly, right? If you're gonna step in somebody's face and start yapping, they ain't gonna back down. It's just that area. You got New Jersey over there. You got Delaware. You got Maryland. You got Pennsylvania. Listen, those boys don't play there. You don't want to get in anybody's face for no reason. That's something that happens. Maybe people know each other and they're going at it. It's okay to put your finger in somebody's face or something like that, maybe. But you can't do that to someone, especially when you're not involved in the game. You're not a player. You're not the entertainment or the talent. You're just there to protect Philly players, not to touch anybody else. And nobody attacked any Philly players, or that's part of the game. That was what was going on down there. So Dom had no business even being there. I don't know why he's standing right next to Sirianni. Who the heck wants to attack Sirianni or touch Sirianni anyway? Why does he have Kingpin standing next to him? I don't understand. Maybe you could shed some light. Spongy?
That's funny. Yeah, I know some people have a bodyguard, and I know there's some coaches that run out onto the field and they have a private, security guard for that, and I don't know if it's a security guard, but they have they have somebody who is basically the coach spy, right? You have a quarterback spy. Well, you have somebody who's supposed to be keeping the coach, so I don't think that was his job, because what I understand, this guy was the head of security. But we do have a answer from Little Sponge, Philly Special Cards. Please check him out and subscribe to his channel. Appreciate you guys all for coming through. This is what happened. That guy was taking a video of the celebration, and Tyreek grabbed his phone and did a backflip. So because I guess he did it, and they thought it was staged, he did. He ended up losing out, and that's not right. It really, really isn't right.
No, it's not. That
Kenny,
man has, man has a job and he has a family he got to take care of. He that's not right to do to anybody.
Okay, so let's see what Sponge said too. He said this right here. He said he's next to Sirianni because he is the team security and they travel, but aren't the security guards for the stadium. Okay. I know he was.
Does Kyle have any security next to him?
Oh boy, I don't see it. So if they do, I'm gonna have to find out. That's a good question. Hey, so maybe next time, Little Sponge, if you're up and if this is a good time, really anybody who's listening, maybe like the last 5 minutes or so, we will do a call in, or we'll do like drop the link and let people come in and ask Kenny or me a couple questions, and we'll end the show that way. But for now, I think this is going to be about it for the show. Kenny and me try to keep it under an hour. Sometimes we might go a little over an hour, but we try to keep it under an hour. And we'll probably be back next Thursday. So if you guys are available, tune in, turn on your notification, like and subscribe to the video. Make sure you check out Corey Davis. Make sure you subscribe to Corey Davis's video. And definitely tune in tomorrow night on the Terror Dome and Twin Empire channels. They will be doing the Friday night show. And then we're going to be finishing the evening off with Joe Stevens from Seattle Seahawk Talk. So check him out as well and give him a subscription and subscribe. And Kenny, you got anything else that you want to get off your chest, or anything else that you're excited to? We haven't really talked at all. Well, we talked a little bit about the Seahawks upcoming match. Do you have any thoughts? You want to give a score prediction on us playing?
I thought I had something on the Seahawks. Let's see. I had a few things, but I don't know where it is no more. So it's late anyway, right? We just played these guys, so we kind of covered it. If you ask me, I think we're better now. And they're supposed to be a little more healthy now or something. But, I mean, does it matter? I mean, stay humble, and we could lose to anybody. But right now, I just don't see how Seahawks could hang.
So Lonnie brought this point up. It is funny. So I don't know what movie it was from. If it was like an Austin Powers movie, or if it was Police Academy, or like oh my gosh, a funny movie.
The Naked Gun.
Yeah, something funny, but I think it was like the Naked Gun, like where they're making the clay pots or something like that, and it was just like that kind of parody. But there was a moment in the movie where like you see them like they're touching their face, and then there's like a bigger hand or something like that. So that's what it kind of reminds me of. It's like you just see the guy's hand all over so I believe he wasn't trying to hit the guy. I think he put it I don't know. It's just like one of those like weird moments. And he's like, "Oh, I got touched," So now it's like no touch. So
he should have done what basketball players do. Dre should have been like, "Oh." He should have.
Do a flop.
Yeah, flop. The Philly flop. We could have called it the Philly flop forever, but now that moment is ruined forever. We'll never have it.
Oh boy. All right, folks, we're getting out of here. We'll see you next time. And go Niners, and tune in next time to the next Kenny and Bryant and Kenny Culp episode. We'll see you then. All right. And with that, folks, we are out of time. We'll see you next time.